only wants you to make good beer and have fun hanging out with your friends. Here's Dono. I haven't done a brewing video for a minute because the last two beers were exact rebrews basically of previous ones. I did a Hefeweizen, tried to get the banana flavor to come forward. That's a video I made a few years ago, which I was successful at that time. This time it was not as much, a little bit more of a balanced one instead of like banana heavy. And then I did a rebrew of a New Zealand Pale Ale that's drinking pretty good. Basically the same recipe as one I did before, Brunettes Not Fighter Jets. That's what I call it, a line from Flight of the Conchords. Anyway, today we have a smash beer. I have some raw Turo Pale, is just the grain, and then 2 ounces of this Ariana, which I've never used, but was given to me by Chip. So I also want to, that's the one story. The other story is, here is my slurry of Otterdal that's been in the fridge for probably about a year from the last beer I made it in 2020, and that beer was made with a tablespoon of slurry from the beer I made in 2019. So what I'm going to do here is get the spoon, tablespoon, scoop up a bit. You know what, let's just do it. How about that? Let's just give it a try here. Okay, I took the lid off last night and gave it a smell test, and it was still smelling okay. Now, did I think this through very well? Do I need a funnel? Let's just live life on the edge. Plop. So this is wort that has not been boiled. Actually out in the garage through the window in the distance is the wort starting to come to a boil. You know, maybe I'll just do a little insurance. I mean, this is probably not necessary, but I don't even use this stuff, right? So the idea is, this will, I call it like a pre-starter slash activator type thing. So I'll put this on the stir plate. It just gives the yeast about 2 hours, not even really that long, to you know, wake up, get into some wort sugar situation, and you know, start to come alive, I guess, or whatever, get reactivated. So we'll see. I mean, I've done it this way before with the slurry, and it's normally worked. So basically, this is a story. Oh, the other thing that I might do, since we're so hot, is actually push it into the 90s, which I've never done with any of these Kveiks, even though you're supposed to be able to do that. So Ariana, Kveik slurry from a year old, maybe pushing it into the 90s, hopefully get a hoppy-ish, light summer beer out of it. See how it goes. Alright, so it's going to be about 10:58 or so, maybe 10:60. I'll have to get a good look at it. Now, I don't know if this looks much different than it did before. I guess maybe there's some of these bubbles. Maybe that's some indication of something, I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and dump it in. I got 5 gallons, so I added 1 ounce of Ariana at bittering. I'm gonna have to turn off this radio. Hold on. And then I did 1 ounce at flame out, and I let it sit for a few minutes, but I didn't go super crazy. So what else? No extra aeration. It's about 85 Fahrenheit right now, so I didn't cool it down to your normal pitching temps because of the Kveik has the high temperature range. I think what I'm going to do is, my porch is going to be really warm and almost maybe too warm, because I mean, if it's 90 outside, that thing is going to be, you know, well over that. And then if it's actively fermenting, it might just go too high. So I think I'm just gonna put it where I usually do, just kind of down here for now. It'll be in the, well, gee, down here, even if it gets really going and I have shirts over it, it still could be 80 plus. So if I want to bring it up, upstairs would be warmer than downstairs. So the thought was to maybe get it up to 90 plus, but you know, we'll see. I don't know if I have a spot to do that, basically is what I'm saying. It'd either be like over 100 or else, you know, like 80. So we'll see, and hopefully we'll get an interesting beer out of it. Alright, here it is the next morning. I went downstairs, the beer was fermenting. Like I said, it's about, I don't know, 74. Well, we can see what it is right now. So I brought it out to the porch, which I know is gonna be warmer. Alright, so 75, and this says 76. So yeah, that's what it is now. I wonder if, I'm just trying to see. This porch right now is the same temperature. Interesting. It's probably about that temperature outside, but just because of the nature of this porch, south facing, I do have all these shades down, but this porch definitely gets warm in the day. And so my thought is, and it's going to be hot today, so this porch will probably get quite warm today. This thing will warm up very quickly, and really within today it'll probably do the majority of the fermentation, and I'll see what the temp is overnight if I need to bring it inside or just leave it out here. But yeah, we'll see how warm it gets today. So it is about 9:30 p.m. after I brought it up here this morning. It is warmer. It is 87, and I don't know what the 86, that says 86 also. Yeah, so it's pretty toasty, not up into the 90s. It's gonna be hot again tomorrow. I thought it might be warmer. Warm up to warmer than it did, but you know, that's pretty warm, and we will just let it ride and check on it tomorrow. I thought I'd do a little wrap-up video on this fermentation because I think it is wrapping up itself much slower. And when I put the gun on this thing, it does say 88, and it is pretty warm on this porch. It didn't get up into the 90s, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if my shades kept it from, because it was 90 outside. It wasn't overly sunny, but yes, it's now Tuesday, and I made this Sunday morning, so not surprising that the yeast with this kind of high temperature, and I did use quite a bit of it, I think, is probably chewing right through this. So I'm probably gonna put a regular top in it and bring it downstairs, so it can just sit down there for until I get ready to keg it.
This kid's gotta be about Jonas.
There it be. There's the Kveik Ariana.
What? I spit take because you sound so excited. You're like, there be.
We're drinking beer
This
again. And, okay, so I think this beer is about a month old. It's been in the keg for 3 weeks. It went from 10.58 to 1.007. We've been tasting it. We're also discussing what's the point of making a beer.
What's the point? What's the point?
What's the use?
What's the use
of making a beer with a yeast that I've used, but it's this goofy, sort of odd mixture of yeast, like 4 different things I think you looked up from Norway, and then using an unknown hop, and then, you know, but the point is, Chip made a point, this beer, it tastes good, that's what we do.
summer drinking?
Yeah.
I mean, the two things together I think are I couldn't tell you which part of what we're tasting is the Otterdal and which is the Ariana, but I think it's melon, berry. It's bitter. It's more bitter than I would have thought, even having only used Ariana once. Used the full ounce, so that kind of makes sense. I used a half ounce to bitter a random red beer.
I think that's a good point, is that it is hard to know what flavors and aromas you get from which thing. So that's kind of my thing I was getting at in the beginning, is this is good. It's not a science experiment, it's more of a kitchen experiment. The descriptors of the hops: fruit, berry, citrus, especially grapefruit, resinous. Now they don't, I taste sort of like a pininess in here, so I'm thinking more of that type of resin, not the bottom of your bong resin. And what's resin? Like, resin is just a general term for a...
I think they almost use it in place of sap, instead of saying something tastes sappy or like sap. Because when I hear resin, that's what I think. Like piney, and almost like, swear to look for antiseptic a little bit, but not nearly as.
Like how they found the dinosaur genes in the amber.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever.
In that amber resin.
In that guy's cane. No, it's funny. Like, I hear resin and I kind of go one way, and then, but I got to come back to the PG version. The PG. Daughter of Hercules and a wild male. Those males, you got to watch out for them. They're wild.
You would have thought a daughter of Hercules could handle a wild male. Like, overpower it.
Oak, tobacco, vanilla are some other descriptors. So the hop has a lot of unique things. It could be that this melon, sweet, fruitiness, the berries, and also the resin could all be from the hops. But the other thing is that Otterdal and past beers I've made kind of orangey and kind of orange peel. So it has like a bitterness, like if you zest an orange almost, kind of a thing. But then this hop is supposed to be thrown off grapefruit. So,
well, you pointed out it's not clear at all, and Otterdal is usually used for raw ales, which aren't even boiled. So I think this yeast is Kveik kind of maybe encourages this like lack of flocculation. Man, we can't talk today.
Flocculation.
It's our first beer of the day, and I'm
you're
like,
saying that we might be tasting the yeast more.
I would say so.
Then,
when we think about
if it drops
the percentage of what we're tasting that's attributed to one thing or another, with a haze like that, even as it's warmed up, like, yeah, I would say Otterdal's putting in some work, but it could also be, you know, like malt that also did not quite bottom out like a true boiled. So
yeah,
we're getting all the things, man.
I don't know.
Malts, hops, yeast.
But I like the hop.
There's some water in here.
It was free thanks to Chip here, and I would use it again. I've been using these New Zealand hops kind of recently, and the South African hops. It even though it's apparently a German type or origination, it kind of has it's like when you get that piney and the fruitiness, then I start thinking of the New Zealand and the South African.
Yeah, it's definitely that new world of German hop. This is not like a noble hop. For sure.
Like your great-grandfather, your Deutschen grandfather's Hopfenfields?
This isn't Mr. Pabst's noble hop.
I beat you?
No.
Oh. One day.
One day.
One day.
You gotta wake up early.
Well, I haven't done beer videos for a minute because I did a Hefeweizen, which I did like a few years ago, same thing, and I made a New Zealand Pale Ale. I thought about doing just sit down and drink those two beers and just have a video talk for a minute.
I think people want to know.
That could yet happen,
like
but that's why it's been a dry. That's why you got the Beekeeper episode and the new music. So anyway, thanks for watching. Comment away on your experience of using Kveik strains in different ways, and the Ariana hop.
It's Dono.
It's Dono. Catch you later.
You said that's why it's been dry.